This is the Kitchen Sink WP podcast, episode 302.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. We have the technology. The technology. Why, hello, everybody. This is Adam Silverly, host of the Kitchen Sink WP podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, upcoming events. Actually, just one event upcoming. It's WordCamp Ahmedabad, December 14th and 15th. Just the one camp. We are winding down the year, so not that many camps left. And as I mentioned a few weeks ago, there are no more WordCamps in the U.S. The rest of the year. So, okay, moving on to segment one in the news. Two things here. Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales were a hit across the board, I am sure. I saw lots of amazing numbers from people sharing those numbers. Thanks to those of you who used my list that I sent out. I posted it over on the website as well. And I did an email list, a little blast there for those who had interest. And keep in mind that some of those sales are still through the entire month of December. So it can't hurt to check and click on them and maybe, still get a great deal. And, Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa are still right around the corner, so there will be some more sales coming up. Maybe not as steep as Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but they're still around, so check that out. And again, thanks for using my list. I got a couple affiliate sales that way. I appreciate it. Keeps the lights on around here, so it's fantastic. So again, thanks. Also in the news, Joost de Valk wrote a commentary regarding the W3Techs CMS market share data. So W3Techs is where we always pull data from. About the 36 or 35% of market share. So Joost de Valk, he wrote a longer, in-depth piece about this. It's an analysis. It's a great read, interesting read about what's going on and how the growth of WordPress and open source. WordPress is growing, but open source, it's just you got to read it to make sense of it. So check that out. Be a link in the show notes as well. So, all right. Is that it in the news? Oh, yeah, there's also the Yoast SEO kind of fiasco, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal, but you know what? It's WP drama. That's all I'm going to say about that, so no big deal. Whatever. Moving on. Okay, segment 2 this week, Meat Potatoes. It's a Q&A episode. It's been about 8 weeks, so we're going to do some questions and answers. People sent in questions. A couple came in from the meetup. This one is by Brian, I believe. Yeah. So, what is a good error plugin to log events and find more information out about the website? So, my suggestion here for you, Brian, is Query Monitor. Query Monitor is really, really quite developer-centric, developer-heavy, if you will. It's by John Blackburn. Their opening paragraph: Query Monitor is a developer tool panel for WordPress, enables debugging of database queries, PHP errors, hooks, actions, block editor, blocks, enqueued scripts, etc. There's a lot it does. A lot of it's over my head. I've used it in the past to check out a few things, like a couple years ago. It's amazing. It's been updated as of this recording 5 days ago. 90,000 active installs. Works with PHP 5.36 or higher. Works up to 5.3 of WordPress. 3.7. Of WordPress. Yes, so up to 5.3. That's right. Okay. So link in the show notes there. You can't go wrong with Query Monitor. Really strong, great tool, and a great question. I mean, I like these kind of tools. You can just kind of geek out on some of the stuff. You can just install it, start poking around. It's like looking and inspecting elements, for the CSS and styling. This helps you do stuff on the scripts, style sheets, APIs. It's pretty amazing. So, all right, this question comes in from, I think this is Debra. Yeah, Debra. How to rebuild a site. Previous developer started it, used some weird theme, too much for me to handle, looking for theme suggestions, but doesn't want to have to do a complete rebuild. Well, that's a tough one. Yeah, it depends on what it was. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember this came from the meetup, and they did something, maybe it was WP Bakery, or I believe is what it was. So again, you may have to do a rebuild, unfortunately. But my recommendation here is, we use a set of tools, as I've mentioned before in the show, Beaver Builder. I use the theme, the plugin, and the themer. Though I just recently started testing Astra because I was building something through WooCommerce, and the Astra theme had some styling which I liked a little bit better built in. But actually, I went back to the Beaver Builder theme because it didn't give me exactly what I wanted. I figured, I'll just stick with the tool set. So you can also try Divi. You could try, what's the other one? I can't think of all of a sudden. But, Divi, Astra, Beaver Builder, that's what I suggest to start with. And if you like the look of a theme out there, like I always tell people, if it can get you 75, 80% of the way there, start with that. However, the problem with that is a lot of the demos look great. Once you install it, it's hard to make it look the same. So what I would suggest is, in my case, try Beaver Builder demo. It's on their website. Play around with it, play with the templates and the themes and that they have there, and just kind of poke around, and it can't hurt. And then, because you can also rebuild this. We've done this in the past. Someone showed me a theme that was using, what's the other plugin? I can't think of the page builder, which we don't like. Anyway, I can't think of the name. Don't want to say it. But they like the look of it, the functionality of it, so we've done that for them in Beaver Builder. So that's also possible. So that's just my 2 cents. But Divi is really strong. Version 4.0 just came out. I know a lot of people love it. I just don't use it myself because there's like 2,500 different themes to choose from, and making things quick is what I like to do. So it makes the agency profitable. All right. Hope that answers that. A couple more questions here, about 3 or 4 more. This one, I don't have a name on this one. This is a question: what email service provider do you recommend to help grow my email list? Well, this is a great question. There's so many of them now. Back in the day, everyone started off with like Constant Contact, which is like the granddaddy. I would recommend MailChimp. Personally, I use MailChimp for some things. And also we use Aweber for KitchensinkWP. But MailChimp has a free level, Aweber does not. MailChimp has changed the pricing, though, so keep that in mind. If you want to have an ongoing drip sequence, the minimum fee for that now is, if you're not grandfathered in, if it's a brand new account, I believe it's like $15 a month, which we are doing, which I missed it by a week. I used MailChimp to set it up for backupspeaker.com to have the sequence go out, and I set up the account, but I didn't activate it in time, so I'm paying $15 a month right now, unfortunately, for the time being, to have that drip campaign work, more than one autoresponder kind of thing. Aweber has that, but Aweber is not, there's no free level at all. There's ConvertKit, there's Drip, there's Emma, there's so many of them. So I recommend, and I use both MailChimp and Aweber. I used to use ConvertKit for some testing a couple years ago. Haven't used it in a long time. Never used Drip, so I don't know that one. But MailChimp's a great place to start. Oh, and as a bonus, the thing I recommend here is maybe check out OptinMonster as well, in conjunction with either one. OptinMonster is a great way, it's a great service and tool to put on your website for lead generation, exit intent, banners, floating bars up top, slide-ins, really powerful, great analytics, A/B split testing for forms and whatnot. So you can also check that out as well. So I use OptinMonster. I have a unlimited license. I've had it for years now. It's fantastic. So. Okay, next question is by, I don't know who this one is by either. There's no names on these ones. I don't know why. My form may have a mistake. Anyway, what is a good sitemap plugin? Suggestions for that. So, first and foremost, a sitemap. What is a sitemap? It is pretty much, it lists the entire website's important pages and make sure that Google can find and crawl them. It helps you understand what the structure is. So that's first and foremost, what is a sitemap? I would recommend Yoast SEO. It has a feature in there that lets you do it on the free level. So that's what we've used in the past, and it seems to work relatively well. So pretty simple explanation there. Yoast SEO works there. So, and the last question is, this one is from Steven. What is a good place to find tutorials for all things WordPress? Ooh, that's a tough one. All things WordPress. Well, there's of course WordPress.tv for WordCamp content. There's podcasts, it's like this one, KitchensinkWP. And one of these days, and I'm just had this conversation with my buddy Guy over on Twitter about doing deep dives again, trying to figure out if how I'm going to add those for 2020. Meetups is a way to do it. And of course, attending WordCamps. There's also lynda.com if you want to pay. And there's also WP Beginner has some great stuff there. There's just a lot of different places. It depends. The question's pretty wide and pretty broad. It doesn't say what actual what tutorials are looking for. I mean, there's YouTube, obviously, and it depends if you're looking to do developer work, if you're looking for Beaver Builder trainings. It just, I would need more information on whoever sent that question in. Steven, I think you sent that in. So if you want to send in a follow-up for 8 weeks from now, or just shoot me an email, you can, and I will help you understand and give you a better answer than I'm giving you right now. All right, so I think that is it. Yeah, that's it for this week for Q&A. Cool. So we'll see this again in 8 weeks or so, 6 to 8 weeks every time I do that. I like doing these. Send in your questions by all means. Segment 3, tip and tool of the week. This week's tip, it's a book. It's an ebook. It's free. As the year comes to a close, I've seen already some posts about retrospectives, about how this year went and what you're planning for next year. And I've recently had to evaluate my own agency and the mission of what I'm trying to do and communication skills with that and bringing people on and moving some staff around, if you will. So that said, BaseCamp actually has shared their handbook online, and it's over at basecamp.com/handbook. And it's about making a career at BaseCamp, but it's also really cool. I think some takeaways are in there. You can take some takeaways in there that'll help you know what to ask if you're going to find a job, or if you're bringing people on, or what your company's about. Their chapters are, what they stand for, what influenced them, their vocabulary, the product history, where they work, the benefits. But I just found the information was pretty interesting as a whole. So, and they keep it over on GitHub, the source for it itself. So pretty cool. So that's the tip and tool of the week, is the BaseCamp HandBook. So check that out, especially if you're doing some retrospective looking, and if you do a post that way. I might do that in a couple weeks. So yeah, maybe 2 or 3 more episodes, end of the year, do a little retrospective. So that is it for this week. I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in. Like I said, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the SpeakPipe function of the website. If you want to support the show, become a Patreon, KitchensinkWP.com/Patreon. That'd be awesome. You could sponsor the show. There's a form on the website. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. Bye-bye.